Hello guys, today date is 20th January 2023. Vision as Current Affair magazine news today. So first topic is government internet shutdowns cost almost $24 billion globally in 2022. Findings are part of a recent report by UK based privacy and security research firm Top 10 VPN. Key findings related to India imposed 34 major shutdowns in 2022, significantly more than any other country in the world. Total cost of internet restrictions was $184.3 million. Shutdowns were highly localized to specific districts, cities, and even villages, intended to be in response to civil unrest, often preemptively. So Rajasthan and Jammu and Kashmir endured most extensive major internet outages. Internet shutdown is defined as an intentional disruption of internet or electronic communications for a specific population or location to exert control over flow of information. It can be caused by internet blackouts, social media shutdowns, or throttling in bracket reduced speed of internet. So, legal provisions related to internet shutdowns in India until 2017 mostly governed under Section 144 of CRPC and the Indian Telegraph Act 1885. In 2017, temporary suspension of telecom services in bracket public emergency and public safety rules were notified. Despite rules, government has also used broad powers under Section 144. Section 69A of IT Amendment Act 2004 2008 gives power to block particular websites. So only Home Secretary of the Union or a state can pass an internet shutdown order to be reviewed by a committee within 5 days. Under unavoidable circumstances, order can be issued by an officer of rank of Joint Secretary or above authorized by Central or State Home Secretary. So our today's second topic is new plateau type discovered from Maharashtra. A rare low altitude basalt plateau has been discovered in Thane region in Western Ghats. In bracket a global biodiversity hotspot and UNESCO World Heritage Site in India. This is the fourth type of plateau to be identified in the region. Previous three are detritus at high and low altitudes and basalt at high altitudes. 76 species of plants and shrubs from 24 different families have been found. Plateaus are dominant landscapes in Western Ghats. They are classified as a type of rocky outcrop. Rocky outcrops are geological features that protrude above the surface of surrounding land. They are formed by weathering that happens at different rates, causing the less weathered rock to remain exposed. They are found on all continents in most climate zone and vegetation types. Significance of rocky outcrops support high level of species diversity and endemisms. They have seasonal water availability, limited soil and nutrients, making them ideal to study effects of climate changes on species survival. They provide critical breeding sites for many top order mammalian and avian predators, nesting sites for colonial species such as seabirds, bats, and swifts. So, basalt is an igneous rock that is formed from the quick cooling of lava, rich in magnesium and iron. It is a very fine grained structure, for example, the Deccan Plateau. The rocks are also sources of phosphorus, potassium, calcium, and several micronutrients essential for plant nutrition. Government modified wildlife fund rules for key infra projects. So center has exempted road, rail and transmission line projects from having to deposit 2% and 0.5% of total project cost towards cost of wildlife management plan and soil and moisture conservation plan respectively. WMP and SMCP are prepared in accordance with conditions stipulated by Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. Earlier, MOEF and CC made it mandatory for all projects to deposit this cost for obtaining final forest clearance under Forest Conservation Act FCA 1980. Now, cost for WMP and SMCP will be proportionate to extent of forest land involved instead of total project cost. So, FCA 1980 regulates deforestation in the country. It was enacted after state government's failure resulted in diversion of forest land without any regard to environmental consideration. Key provisions of the Act: it prohibits felling of forest for any non-forestry use without prior clearance by the central government. Clearance process includes seeking consent from local forest rights holders and from wildlife authorities. In T.N. Godavarman case 1996, Supreme Court expanded coverage of FCA 1980 to all areas that satisfied dictionary definition of a forest. Previously, FCA applied largely to reserve forest and national parks. So, India and New Eurasia. Recently, several countries, including Japan, South Korea, Australia, etc., have taken initiatives suggesting a growing focus over better relationship between European and Asian countries. About Eurasian region, geographically represented by Eurasian plate covering most of Europe and Asia, there is a lack of an agreed international understanding of what constitutes the region. New dynamics in the Eurasian region. As Russia and China unveiled a Eurasian alliance, this led to strengthening of Western alliance in Europe. It also provided the basis for a new kind of alliance between China's East Asian neighbors and Russia's West European neighbors through initiatives like Quad, AUKUS, etc. This new dynamic presents certain challenges for India in terms of managing coalition with both the blocs. Russia, China, and Western alliance becoming difficult. Rising proximity between Russia and China is significance of Eurasia for India region is richly endowed with commodities such as crude oil, natural gas, cotton, gold, copper, aluminium, and iron. It is strategically positioned as an access point between Europe and Asia. Apart from checking Chinese influence, it will help India to overcome hostile alliance in the region. For example, Turkey-Pakistan alliance. So our next topic is National Level Steering Committee reviews overall progress in Atal Bhujal Yojana. Atal Bhujal Yojana is a central sector scheme for facilitating sustainable groundwater management. It will be implemented over a period of 5 years from 2020-21 to 24-25. One of the main objectives of the scheme is to bring about behavioral changes at ground level. The scheme is being taken up in a nearly 8350 water stressed gram panchayats of 7 states, namely Haryana, Gujarat, Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Rajasthan, and Uttar Pradesh. It is funded by Government of India and World Bank on a 50-50 basis. The scheme has two components: institutional strengthening and capacity building component by facilitating a strong database, scientific approach, and community participation in ground water sector. Incentive: second is incentive component for incentivizing states for achievement of predefined results. Scheme uses a four-pronged strategy: decision support tools for groundwater management, strengthen community-based institutions to foster management, improve water use efficiency, and enhance groundwater recharge and fiscal decentralization. Scheme envisages active participation of the communities and panchayats in various activities such as formation of water user associations, preparation of gram panchayat wise water security plans, etc. So also in news is, so India supported resolution adopted by UNGA. UNGA adopted India supported resolution education for democracy that reaffirms right of everyone to education. Resolution encouraged member states and other stakeholders to integrate education for democracy into their education standards. Further, resolution also highlighted the states should work with relevant stakeholders to close digital divides. UNG was established in 1945 under Charter of UN. It is the chief policy making body of the organization. Each of the 193 member states of UN has an equal vote. So our second topic is adjudicatory board for major ports notified. Major Port Authorities Act 2021 envisages constitution as an of an adjudicatory board. Adjudicatory board shall consist of a presiding officer and two members. Presiding officer shall be a retired judge of Supreme Court or a retired chief justice of a high court. Presiding officer and members of the adjudicatory board shall be appointed on recommendation of a selection committee consisting of Chief Justice of India or his nominee, Secretary of Department of Personnel and Training, Secretary of Ministry of Ports, Shipping and Waterways. Google to follow CCI order. In a major ruling, Supreme Court declined to stay Competition Commission of India directions to Google to correct its anti-competitive practices. Google abused its dominant positions to mandate pre-installation of Google mobile services including search, YouTube, maps on phones by original equipment manufacturers in bracket OEMs. CCI issued several directives to Google including OEMs shall not be forced to pre-install a bucket of apps. Google shall not deny its Play services APIs to disadvantage OEMs app developers. Google should not restrict uninstalling of its pre-installed apps. Electoral bonds. Sale of 25th tranche of electoral bonds started. Electoral bonds in what is electoral bonds in bracket valid for 15 days for the date of issue, can be repurchased by a citizen of India or entities incorporated or established in India, sold in multiples of rupees 1000, 10,000, 1 lakh, 10 lakh and 1 crore. SBI is a only bank authorized to sell them. Eligibility. Registered political parties that secured at least 1% of the votes polled in the most recent general or assembly elections. Indian star tortoise. Geochelone elegans. A recent study has revealed that genetic diversity of the species as well as habitat has suffered major losses because of rampant illegal trade. So star tortoise with their distinct star-like markings on the shell are found in dry lowland of India, Pakistan and Sri Lanka. IUCN status vulnerable. Vulnerable. Also included in Appendix 1 of CITES, Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora. Drone jammers. Recently, Indian Army issued a proposal for vehicle-based drone jammers. Various ways of drone jamming: radio frequency jamming, satellite link disruption, spoofing, dazzling. So first is radio frequency jamming, which disrupts link between drone and its operator by generating radio frequency interference. So satellite link disruptions through which drone would lose GPS assistance for deciding its flight path. Spoofing, through which a wrong navigation link is fed to drone by jammer to misdirect the drone. Dazzling, through which camera of drone is blinded through a high intensity laser or light beam. So our next topic is on TB Vaccine Accelerator Council. WHO announced plans to establish a new TB Vaccine Accelerator Council. It will facilitate the licensing and use of effective novel TB vaccines, utilizing high-level alignment between various stakeholders in identifying and overcoming barriers to TB vaccine development. BCG is currently the only licensed TB vaccine. TB is caused by Bacillus mycobacterium tuberculosis. It typically affects lungs, pulmonary TB, but can affect other sites. Meteoroid. 5 new meteoroids were found in the blue ice region of Antarctica. Meteoroids are objects in space that range in size from dust grains to small asteroids. When meteoroids enter Earth's atmosphere at high speed and burn up, the fireballs or shooting stars are called meteors. When a meteoroid survives a trip through the atmosphere and hits the ground, it is called meteoroid. Ganjam Kevada. There is a rising demand for Kevada oil from Odisha's Ganjam region. Ganjam Kevada in bracket Pandanus fascicularis oil is tree steam distilled from the flower of aromatic screw pine plant and used as an aromatic in the food industry and other sectors. Male spike is attractive for its characteristic aromatic color, whereas female spike is odorless and develops into a woody drupe. It is registered under Geographical Indications of Goods in bracket Registrations and Protection Act 1999. Sansad Khel Mahakumbh 2022-23 PM inaugurated second phase of Sansad Khel Mahakumbh 22-23 in Basti district UP. Khel Mahakumbh organizes various competitions in both indoor and outdoor sports like wrestling, kabaddi, football, hockey, volleyball, handball, table tennis, etc. Apart from these, competitions in essay writing, painting, rangoli making, etc. were also organized. Event is aimed at promoting young sporting talent at local grassroots level. Mahakumbh will have a special focus on promoting female participation in sports for their empowerment. Places in news. Oman, capital Muscat. India and Oman have agreed to jointly fight all manifestations of terrorism collectively. Political features of boundaries. Oman is the oldest independent state in Arab world, situated at southeastern edge of Arabian Peninsula. Shares its land borders with UAE, Saudi Arabia and Yemen, situated at confluence of Persian Gulf and Arabian Sea, sharing its maritime borders with Iran and Pakistan. Geographical features: highest point Jabal Akhdar. It has no perennial rivers or lakes. South Korea, capital Seoul. India and South Korea agreed to deepen cooperation in multiple areas at fifth foreign policy and security dialogue in Seoul. Political features and boundaries: bordered by Democratic People's Republic of Korea, North Korea to north, East Sea, Sea of Japan to east, East China Sea to south, and Yellow Sea to west. Shares land border with North Korea and maritime borders with China and Japan, separated from Japanese island of Tsushima by Korea Strait to southeast. Geographical features: highest point Mount Helasan, a shield volcano of Jeju Island. Major rivers: Nakdong Nakdong and Hangang River. So thank you for this session.